Hey guys, my name is Maxine, and I am the CEO and founder of a company called PickMyBrain. And I'm going to tell you my story of how we started, how we grew, and where we are today. So, high level, PickMyBrain is a global knowledge sharing marketplace where you can go and browse and book and pick people's brains from all around the world. And my inspiration for this idea, the vision was like, what if I could have a conversation with anyone in the world? What would that unlock for me? And what if I could list my brain on a site that would let everyone in the world know that I was open and available to sharing my knowledge? Grand vision. What if there was a marketplace as big as Amazon, only instead of having products, there were just services like Pick My Brain calls and coffee and conversations? Could that be a new economy? So those are kind of the visions of what our aspirations. And how I came to those questions was a bit of background on me. I'm an investment banker turned economist. I worked as an environmental economist for 6 to 7 years, then turned startup founder. And along my journey, up until the creation of Pick My Brain, I really understood the value that a conversation played in my life. There were so many times that a conversation would adjust from what I studied in university to who I spoke to next, to which jobs I would apply to. In university, I always found so much value. I was an avid couch surfer. Couch surfing was a platform that you could go on and stay on anyone's couch in the world, and you could open up your couch and have people stay on yours. And again, through conversation and connection, I just saw how much I could learn. I probably stayed on over 100 couches from all around the world, and probably had about 100 people stay on my couch as well. And again, got to experience the benefits of a global marketplace where you could list this offer, and have a complete stranger, come in through a trusted portal, meet and greet in real time, and see what would unlock. So really, really love that. And as an economist, I always thought, someone should monetize this. So what economists do typically is put a price on things. And we put a price on things for a number of reasons. Number one, to direct the masses towards something that we want them to do. We think price is a mechanism that shifts people to where we want them to go. And price can also unlock a market. And so, I was on couch surfing a ton, seeing the value of conversations and connections, and always was like, yeah, someone should definitely monetize this. Because what I noticed was a lot of my friends were uncomfortable couch surfing because it was free. They felt super uncomfortable going to a stranger's house with no financial exchange, so they would not participate. I'm on the risk loving side, hence becoming a startup founder. And so I actually loved it. And when I was a broke student, it was very helpful to travel the world, being able to stay at someone's house as opposed to a hostel or a hotel. But this thought kind of stuck in my mind. And as someone who had hosted so many people on my couch and given so much of my time to people who stayed at my house by showing them my city, bringing them into my day-to-day life, I was like, this could be a form of a side gig. And this was like prior to side gig speak as well. Long story short, we all know that Airbnb came out and monetized the ability to stay in a stranger's home on someone's couch. And I thought, holy, this is going to change the game. And at the time, I was working as an environmental economist at this big research think tank. And while I loved my job, I was getting a bit jaded with using policy as a tool to change the world. The reason being is that I saw early on my career that a policy could get dismantled with a change in government. A change in government could take place, and if that new government didn't like the policies that were built, they could rewrite it and change it. And I saw one too many policies get dismantled, and I just thought, why am I going to spend all of my time and energy writing a policy that is economically sound and good for the planet if a change in government can just like wipe it? And so when I saw Airbnb come out of the gate, and I was one of the first like 1,000 users of Airbnb, so I discovered it quite early on. And again, as an economist, I was enamored because It was a peer-to-peer marketplace, which from an economist perspective is the most effective form of transferring value. It monetized a shared asset, which unlocked a whole new category, right? It took a bedroom that was not on the market and put it on the market and created this new category of things that we could buy and sell and exchange with one another. And as an environmentalist, it was something that allowed people to become entrepreneurs, step into someone's home, which is very community, more environmentally friendly. And when my brain started to think of Airbnb in terms of impact, I was like, wow, Airbnb is probably having more environmental and social impact than any policy I've ever worked on. And this thing's gonna scale globally. And I thought, and this company didn't even have to go through the government, which is often filled with a bunch of red tape. And so I remember looking up the founders who founded this company, and I discovered that the three founders were three guys that were just my age who made up this marketplace using technology. And that's really all I needed for inspiration to be like, this is the field I want to be in. I'm making a transition. I'm going to jump over here. I need to be in tech. I need to transition from an economist over to being a startup founder, just like the founders of Airbnb, and unlock something on that global scale. This is going to have so much more impact than I could have here in the policy world. So I quit my job within 2 weeks of discovering Airbnb, told the CEO I was working at the time, like, I need to go and learn how to go into tech. And I gave myself 1 year to make that transition. And I called it my year on. So I said, oh, okay, well, Max, you went to school and university for 7 years to become an economist. You did 2 undergrads, you did a master's. What if you gave yourself 1 year to study whatever you needed to study to make the transition from an economist to a startup founder? And that's what I did. And so I took a year on. I gave myself about a $30,000 a year budget, which is what I spent on my master's. And I said, okay, I spent $30,000 getting a master's in economics. What if I spent $30,000 on crafting my own university to make this transition? And on that journey, I did a whole bunch of things. I onboarded into every peer-to-peer marketplace I could possibly get on. At that time, there was a lot of future of education coming out at the time. So Udemy, Coursera, Udacity, those were new platforms that were just starting to gain momentum. So I onboarded myself into all of them. I took classes. I drove across Canada. I gave myself 1 month to drive across my home country, which was Canada, and meet and greet as many people that I could to have conversations to discover what they did on their career, to see if there was a fit. That was really fun. So essentially I picked a bunch of people's brains along that journey, foreshadowing for later. I also, and honestly, during that, I found a little bit of the challenge of reaching out to people in my network. It worked, but as soon as I reached out to someone that was outside of my network, the follow-up was much lower. Even if I was like, listen, I've got a budget, like I would love to just sit down with you and ask you questions. I'm willing to pay you. It was super weird back then because you couldn't, I was like, well, I'll email you a web transfer, or I'll send you an e-transfer. That was a really weird thing to do. So I noticed on that journey, oh, it's really hard to talk to people that I don't know or that aren't in my network. I flew to Maui for a month and read all these books that I didn't have time to read during my career that all had to do with peer-to-peer marketplaces, crowdsourcing knowledge, technology, among a number of other things. And there were a few things on this journey that started to stand out to me, which led to the creation of PickMyBrain. Number one, which I already alluded to, this difficulty of getting in touch with people I didn't know. Number two, my mom was actually retiring at the time, and my mom was a successful entrepreneur for 25 years. And I discovered that she actually was looking for a way to share and pass down her knowledge, but she didn't know how. And I just remember being like, what do you mean you don't know how to share and pass down your knowledge? What is the purpose of life if you can't share your knowledge? And I remember thinking, you know what, it is difficult. She would have to build a website. She would have to integrate a calendar. She would have to market herself and let people know. If she wanted to charge, she would have to figure out a payment integration. And for someone in my mom's generation, those are not easy things. That combination of building that tech stack that would be required for her to let the world know that she's open to sharing her knowledge, not insignificant. And I remember looking up and Googling like how many people are retiring around the world. And it's like hundreds of thousands of people retire every single day in the US alone. And I thought, how are those people passing their knowledge back down? And all these things started to float in my brain. And I just thought, I wonder if people could package and price and sell their knowledge. I wonder if my mom could sell conversations. Like conversations were so influential in my life. A conversation with her could change your life. Can we monetize conversations? Can we monetize knowledge, this thing that we can't touch? It aligned very well with my environmental pursuits, right? I never wanted to sell or share or exchange a product because I knew that it had impact on the planet. But knowledge is transferable globally without any supply chain, without any products. And so I just became enamored with thinking about this idea, which led, like I said at the beginning, what if I could have a conversation with anyone? What if there was a conversation marketplace or a knowledge marketplace where I could talk to anyone in the world just as easy as I could book someone's home on Airbnb? And so I was like, okay, this is it. I want to validate this. Will people pay for a conversation? So I'm going to share my screen and show you how the first step I did towards taking this idea that I had. Can I monetize conversations? Will people be willing to pay for that? And test it. So full circle, I actually went back to Airbnb. They had just launched experiences at the time, which allowed people to essentially tour guides to list their services on Airbnb and take people on a bunch of little activities or adventures. And so I decided to use their platform to test this concept. So while I wasn't taking anyone on an adventure, I was going to list an experience. And what it was an experience called Hang Out with a Vancouver startup founder. Let's go for coffee. Let's talk about the future of work, the future of education, and any ideas that you have. So I'll show you that listing. And I'll talk through the results of it. So here was the listing. So hang out with a Vancouver startup founder in Vancouver. I posted some pictures. I said, okay, we're going to meet up and talk all things future of work. I'll tell you about my store-up story. We'll talk entrepreneurship, etc. And I was like, okay. And I charged $55. And I was like, I wonder if anybody will book me for a coffee and conversation, right? This would help me validate whether people are willing to pay to sit down with me. So it turns out over 50 people booked and paid me to have coffee and conversation with me within like a 3-month period. So I was going for coffee and conversations like multiple times a week. And what I realized, and you can read the reviews down here, I think I have 37 reviews from people, of all these people from around the world who took me up on this offer and booked a conversation. And you can read what they got out of that. But from my perspective, I was like, oh my goodness, I just made an offer that allowed people from all around the world to come in and book sessions with me. And it wasn't the couple thousand. I think I made like $3,000 from this one offer in a couple months. That wasn't the concept that hooked me into putting my entire life's energy and work towards PickMyBrain. It was what those conversations turned into, and what it allowed me to open up for myself. So just to give you some ideas of some of the value that came from those 50 plus conversations. The very first person that booked me ended up becoming PickMyBrain's first employee. The second person that booked me ended up writing PickMyBrain's first $50,000 investment check. The third person that booked me on the platform, I ended up actually falling in love with and having a relationship with. It was another CEO in Canada who is growing this fast growing company. And I realized that conversations actually unlock a lot of chemistry. And then I had like these 50 other bookings that I walked away with this really intimate global network from all around the world. And actually, so many of the people I booked invited me into their country, invited me like, if you come and visit me in Brazil, you got a place to stay. I'm going to take you out for dinner. So I realized like conversations unlocked. Once you have a conversation with someone one-on-one, it opens the door for all of these other economic opportunities. And I was like, oh my goodness, I'm sold. I am fully dedicating my life. I believe that I should be able to have a coffee and conversation with anyone in the world. I believe that anyone in the world can offer a service like a coffee and conversation because it's very personal to your story. And so many benefits, co-benefits are going to flow if there was a marketplace like this existed, because I saw myself the results of this one offer, even though Airbnb's experience wasn't really built for this. So went all in on Pick My Brain and sketched the first version of what this profile looked like that allowed me to package, price, and sell my knowledge. So this is my Pick My Brain profile today. I forgot how to go on timeline to show you the first version of it, but it was very similar to this, just a little less pretty. But the idea is, can I build a profile that shows the world what knowledge I have, and that I am open and available to sharing my knowledge with everyone via the click of a button. So I sketched this out and I started to package and price and sell my knowledge in a wide variety of ways. I probably should have just stuck with the coffee and conversation and scaled that, but I got so excited with the idea of packaging and pricing knowledge using these smart programmable contracts that right at the beginning, I started unlocking a whole bunch of things. So you can see today, these are all the things that people can book me for on Pick My Brain, scaling from, free all the way up to a $3,000 offer. And I have had multiple iterations on this. So, I've had about 1,000 people reach out and book me since I started Pick My Brain back like 3 to 4 years ago. And I'll catch you up contextually of how this kind of grew. But this was the first version is, can I build a profile very similar to LinkedIn? But where I thought LinkedIn was missing out was that LinkedIn only talks about our resumes. Pick My Brain talks about us as a people, what I'm interested in, what knowledge I have, how can I help you, how can I be of service to you, what I'm interested in, what I'm available for. It goes a little bit deeper into the human parts of it. And it also, of course, has the resume section. So I started sketching this profile. I started packaging and pricing my knowledge independently and selling it, and just getting really good at like learning how to sell anything from a coffee and conversation. I sold a dream out loud call one time. So I went to New York on this journey and I realized that people in New York dream really big. And I was like, oh, not enough people dream. I wonder if that's because there's not a space to dream. So I packaged one of these offers and it was just called Dream Out Loud. And it was $75. And I went to my network and I said, hey guys, I have this theory that not enough people dream. So I made an offer called Dream Out Loud. If you want to book it, it's $75. And for 60 minutes, I'm going to get you to dream really big. And I'm just going to conjure up some things that are in your head. And I only offered 10 of them, right? Because I was practicing packaging and selling my knowledge. Could this be a marketplace forever? I got to get really good at it if so. 10 people immediately booked me for that offer. I made $750. But again, more than that, I had 10 people intimately call me and share their dreams with me. So again, I experienced the same thing with the coffee and conversation. This offer that was packaged and priced and contained allowed people from all around the world to book and schedule it, right? This book me button goes a long way. People don't know if you're open and available to going there unless it stares them right in the face, right? This is my 1 hour of coaching session now, and people can see very clearly that they can book and buy it and what people have thought about it. So I kept packaging. Then I said, oh, can I package an offer that isn't just one-to-one? Can I package a one-to-many offer? And so right around that time, Bitcoin was really taking off. And I had noticed that a lot of my girlfriends were not investing in Bitcoin. And when I talked to them, I realized it was because the language and the storytelling didn't motivate them. As soon as like people started talking about Bitcoin from a very gamer perspective and coins and trading, women would like gloss over. But I was super fascinated in the technology. Actually, Ethereum and smart contracts are what inspired Pick My Brain's contracts. So I was like, listen, I think women would be really interested in blockchain if they knew the applications and people told it to them as a story, like how it's changing healthcare, how it's changing a musician's ability to monetize, how it's adjusting and putting digital identities on a chain and what that could do. So my third offer that I ended up making just under $10,000 with, it was one of my biggest offers that I sold on Pick My Brain, learning how to sell my knowledge, was an offer called Bitcoin and blockchain from a woman's perspective. And I launched it with my friend Rainey on my Pick My Brain profile, and you can read about it here. But I charged, I think, $100 for a 3-hour class of anyone who wanted to come learn about Bitcoin from a woman's perspective. And I listed on my Pick My Brain profile. I let my network know. I ran 3 sessions and sold like quite a number of them. And again, realized that I could unlock a new revenue stream by packaging and pricing my knowledge. So I kept doing this and until I hit like $50,000, $60,000 in revenue, and I got really comfortable with the idea of packaging and pricing my knowledge. And then I circled back and built a profile for my mom. So remember, my mom was the one that was a successful entrepreneur, retired, did not know how to package and offer her services, and was also looking for a way to like make a side gig that allowed her to like operationalize or find value in the things that she'd created. So what we came up with my mom's Pick My Brain profile was that she had a large community based on her role. And she really wanted to invite that community to come stay with her in her new home and do creative getaway retreats for her community. So again, we just packaged and priced a number of ways that her community could come stay with her: a 1-day, 2-day, 3-day, weekly and monthly rate where people could come live and creatively create with my mom at her house. Again, we launched it, we tested it, we let her community book it. And so far she's, had 34 people take her up on these offers. Again, you can read the reviews of what people have experienced as a result of that. And again, learn how to help someone monetize their community, their resources, and their knowledge. From there, I started teaching more people how to do it. Flash forward to today, we have raised about $600,000 from friends, family, and angels to work towards building this global knowledge marketplace, which allowed us to build enough of the tech stack that helped people package and price, transfer payments seamlessly between people, have calendar integration, all those things that you have to like workshop and build with a tech team that cost a bit of money. And I just kept onboarding my community. I onboarded the first 100 people by inviting the 100 people that I knew and loved and knew that they were so smart and so cool, and working with them one-on-one to find something that they could monetize. We had our standard offers that people could opt into: a Pick My Brain call, a coffee and conversation, a private session, right? Offers that we thought every professional could opt into, but then the opportunity to customize as well, like you saw my mom did. So we taught those 100 people how to build a Pick My Brain profile. They built one. And then I said, okay, we got to pool all those people into a marketplace so people can shop them so they don't independently always have to market themselves. So then we started to aggregate them. Then COVID hit and we had to remove all of our in-person offerings and shift to completely online, which ended up totally working in our favor and allowed us to start onboarding people outside of our circles globally. And what ended up happening is those 100 people that we first onboarded invited the next 500 people. And then those 500 people invited the next 1,000 people. And today we have 1,000 people on our platform from over 88 countries that you can book for things like meet me's, Pick My Brain calls, online coffee and conversations, mentorship sessions, different categories. We started to play with mentorship. Everyone that has a mentor tag is open and available to sharing their knowledge specifically with youth. And we've done about $500,000 in marketplace sales. And so have verified, again, on another scale, that people outside of just me can make money sharing and selling their knowledge. Turns out 70% of the bookings on Pick My Brain are gifted, 30% are monetized. So we're actually doing a lot of bookings on Pick My Brain, and about 30% of them are paid, 70% are gifted. And now we're just raising our seed right now. We're looking to raise about $2.5 million to build out our tech a little bit further. We have not spent $1 on marketing. It has all been word of mouth referral. And another thing that I noticed that works really well, if you don't have a marketing budget, is building community. So when you become a brain on Pick My Brain, or when you book a brain, so when you've entered our funnel, You get on our list. And once a month, Pick My Brain hosts this global networking party where we invite everyone in our community to come meet and greet and exchange knowledge in this giant Zoom session. Where we do 3 breakout rooms and drop 3 questions to allow people to experience what it's like to meet a stranger and to see how much knowledge you can transfer in such a short period of time. And that event has gotten so popular and so big, and it gives people a really easy entry to experiencing, right, and feeling the product out. And every time we host these events, there's like so many bookings that happen on the marketplace, because what we say is, listen, if you met someone at the event that you want to follow up with, go book a session and dive deeper. And we've started to really reinforce this culture of like, you should meet one person minimum a month and go learn about them, their lived experiences, their story, how they got to where they are. And if you simply do that, if you go to Pick My Brain and book one person a month, you will change your life forever. And I'm actually doing this talk from Dubai right now. I'm originally from Canada, and I'm in Dubai because of a Pick My Brain call. And so the thousands of people that have reached out just because I have this portal open have significantly changed my life. And I continuously use the platform to book other people. And that has allowed me to scale our marketplace with $0 spent on marketing. But now we feel like we've got enough of a product market fit. We kind of understand the value of our tool. And so we're seeking that 2.5 million to take it to that next stage and onboard a much larger group at a time. So now we're approaching groups, like we're onboarding the world's Olympians right now onto Pick My Brain. So we can be like, hello world, did you know you can book an Olympian for things like calls, coffees, mentorship, coaching per day for speaking gigs, etc. And then we're going to go onboard different groups that we have in our pipeline. But I'll pause there and let Mindy come on and ask some questions, but that's kind of how we got started. This is where we are. And the long term, my mission with Pick My Brain. So I think knowledge commerce is going to rival e-commerce in the next 5 to 10 to 15 years. And the thing that's going to help us get there is to make it as easy to book and sell and gift knowledge as it is to buy a product online. And so the KPIs that I'm going for is I want to facilitate 10 million conversations between the world's people every single year. And if I can do that, I will be able to unlock about $1 billion worth of knowledge commerce in the same way, full circle, that Airbnb was able to unlock a $30 billion economy by allowing people to monetize their shared asset. We're just allowing people to monetize their shared asset, which is the knowledge in their mind. So that's my story, and I will stop sharing my screen. And Mindy, feel free to pop on and ask any questions.
Okay, I'm so excited to ask questions. You did so many interesting things. I guess first, when you posted that dream big offer to your network, where did you post that? Was that like social media? Were you on Facebook? Was it
Yeah, just posted Facebook to my friends and family and said, just with an interesting pitch, does anyone want to try this? That's it.
cool?
I
And
didn't
then
even have Instagram then.
what year was this? Like, how was Facebook doing as a platform at the time?
That was, let's see, it's 2022, probably 2018, 17.
Okay.
17,
Okay.
18. So it was around, it was good. I had not joined Instagram formally yet.
Yep.
Um, yeah, yeah. I don't remember 2017.
I feel like people still used Facebook in 2017, maybe a bit
Yeah,
less, but like, do you feel like if
yeah.
you posted that same offer on your Facebook today, you would still get engagement? Like, is Facebook still a channel that you can reach your network along?
Yeah, I do. I have shifted more to Instagram and LinkedIn, but yeah, I think every time I launch an offer, I invite my social network first, and then I extend beyond. And I found a way to launch these offers with an early bird rate and a discount code, with a deadline and a time, with DMing, with a goal in mind. And I always like generally hit it. And so what I want to teach people is like, I want to teach them how to build a revenue stream doing something that they're super passionate about,
Yeah.
and this is like passion economy. This is what we're all interested in doing. And it's not a gig. It's not gig work. It's like passionate, creative offerings that have to do with me offering something that I am knowledgeable about.
Yeah. That's interesting. Do you feel like I'm curious what the people who booked you for that sort of initial 10 were like. Like if I imagine
Mm,
sort of trying to monetize my network, I'm like, maybe people from high school would come out of the woodwork, like a few
yeah.
people from old jobs, maybe. Curious who it
Yeah.
was and why, like what it was like for them to reconnect with you.
It was so interesting to see who booked. I had, yeah, friends from like that I had not talked to in a really long time, just super curious and feeling like, oh, you're doing all these exciting things. Like, I want to do exciting things. I want to talk about it. And I don't have my friends, like my friends don't talk business with me. So I actually don't know who to talk about it with, but it looks like you're doing this. Can I talk to you about it? So friends that were like peripheral friends.
Interesting.
People that I had joined like clubs with, like I had played volleyball a lot, people that were on my team and knew of me and just saw the offer and as a way to come in and play. Um, I had one stranger that someone shared it with them because he was tweeting about like
Oh,
trying to find yeah, someone had invited him to book the offer.
yeah.
It was really interesting who came out for
Yeah.
those, and I only did 10. I was like, I'm only doing 10. I just want to test this. I just want to see. And so I find that when you limit things, it becomes much easier to sell them as well. They're not evergreen.
I bet. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
how did you do discount codes? Were you like, was that all manual at the time? What was like a message like?
Yeah. We had baked discount codes into the back end to Pick My Brain from day one.
Okay, nice.
And the way I use them and the way I recommend brains use them is either number one, when you're first starting, come up with your offer and do the first 3 or 5 for free to get your reviews.
Cool.
Um, then when you're doing other offers, have an early bird rate if you have something that's limited. So this is this price until May. You can use this discount code. After May, the discount code doesn't exist. And then the third way I recommend Brains doing it is just someone that you want to support. So my mom's profile that I showed you, she has a discount code for single moms because she's like, anyone that's a single mom, they need creative retreats more than ever. I know what it's like to be a single mom. So she has a discount code for single moms. I have other people that have discount codes for NGOs, discount codes for minorities, whatever they're passionate about, passing it back down. And then it makes them more comfortable to actually share their offer as well.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
Okay, so jumping forward in the timeline, when you onboarded that first 100 brains, how did you find them? Were they personal network? Was that again
Yeah.
social outreach?
All personal network and friends of friends. So I just started going through my mind of being like, okay, who are the smartest people that I've worked with, that I went to school with? And then everyone I onboarded, I said, if you were to recommend 3 people that should be on this platform, who would it
Who are
be? And then
those?
I'd follow up with them. And that was really it. It just started to go from there.
That's awesome. So do you have like notes buried somewhere in your computer of just like long lists of names?
Yeah, I do. Definitely
That's amazing.
100%.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What was the
Yeah.
timeline like on getting those initial yeses? Was it like you did a big push and got all 100? Was it like you got a few in the first couple of weeks, trickling in over 6 months? Was it?
Yeah. The first way I did it, actually, I offered a course. I offered a offer on my Pick My Brain profile that was
Yeah,
like learn how to package, price, and sell your knowledge in 6 weeks.
cool.
And I actually charged $1,500 for that course and I sold it so much. And then I sillily turned it off and started offering our solution as a service, SaaS. So I
Cool.
used to have a wonderful revenue stream teaching people how to package and price their knowledge. And that actually helped us build our tool.
Interesting.
Like figuring it out and helping people and like working with them one-on-one and as a group to see how they wanted to package and price, what our tech needed to be able to do that. So I probably did that for the first like 60 people.
Wow.
And
Cool.
then I like stopped and built that into the program. So when people onboard Pick My Brain, they get access to those classes for free now. And which is like
Nice.
which was hard as a startup founder to do. But
Like
if
turn the money off.
turn the wonderful salary off
That is
and then go
hard.
back to SaaS and making nothing.
Yeah.
That is,
Roll with
I'm a
that.
mixed girl through and through. So that's kind of how we did it. And then yeah, like now it's so funny. We have about 100 brains apply every month. And they
Wow.
just submit it. And because there's so many people in the marketplace, they kind of know how to do it.
Yeah, that makes
Now
sense.
it's knowledgeable how to do that. And we live in the era of passion gigs anyway, so it's just normal.
Yeah. When you were promoting the course to get those first 100 brains on, was that mostly just through like private social channels like Facebook, or were you doing things on public channels like Twitter or XYZ?
No, I never did anything public, but I partnered with, I remember I partnered with two co-working spaces in Vancouver at the time.
Oh, smart.
And I said, would you be interested in offering this to your community? I think it'd be a great offer. All these people are pretty freelancer already.
Cool.
Um, I would just love to do that. And they supported me and they helped bring in other people outside of my network as well.
Wow, that's super interesting. Was that like advertising in the co-working space? Was it like discount codes for members?
No discount codes. I don't think I did discount codes. I just put it on the Slack channel of the co-working space and asked the owner of the co-working space to like tell their members about it, just talk about it.
Oh,
Because I
wow.
was like, oh, maybe people would be super interested in it. I wasn't really thinking like it wasn't a numbers game for me. It was just like collecting enough people outside
Totally.
that I knew that my friends weren't just interested in doing it, that
Yeah.
I could get a stranger to invest in learning how to do this.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you have a guess at how many people you like reached out to cold to get those first 100 brains? Is it like, were you sending
Oh,
texts, emails, 60, 100, 1,000?
I have yet to have someone say no to me to become a brain.
Oh,
Um,
that's amazing.
yeah,
Wow,
yeah, I
that's huge.
haven't. I've had people become a brain and then like dial down the amount of time that they have available because of
Sure,
transitions.
totally.
But everyone that I've asked, like, will you build a profile and at least offer? So we ask every brain to gift 10 hours of time a year
Cool.
so that we can help promote them. Typically everyone will say yes. So how many people did I email? It was like at first, like everyone I kind of messaged because it was like I was like, this is my startup. I'm super passionate about. Will you do this with me? They'd all say yes.
Oh,
So that was really nice. I don't know if I sent like a group email. I don't know. I don't know how
no
many.
worries.
Yeah, 200.
Okay.
Maybe I tried to message 200 and got 100.
Yeah, cool. That makes sense. Was
Yeah.
it mostly Facebook or were you texting to kind of everything?
Yeah, definitely texting,
Cool.
emailing people I had met. Like I had like a contact list of people I had worked with that I admired. And
Awesome.
I would just message them and like kind of share the vision and be like, would you be interested in
Would you
trialing
do
this out?
this? Did you do
Yeah.
calls with them to onboard or was it a remote onboarding process?
Um, I would usually get them to book me on Pick My Brain to
Okay.
talk about what they wanted to do, and then I'd get them to book the service on Pick My Brain so that they could see that they were paying me to go through it, and that is something that they were eventually going to do themselves.
Nice. Yeah, that
Yeah,
makes sense. Cool. What
yeah.
was a message asking someone to do that like? Like, do you remember
Uh,
roughly what the template was?
I mean, I still do it. Anyone that reaches out to me on LinkedIn that says, "Do you want to meet?" I'm like, "Book me on my Pick My Brain."
Cool.
Um, anyone that asks like that, whenever I do a podcast or
Hmm.
whenever I do a pitch, I always end with like, "You can find me on Pick My Brain if
Pick my brain?
anyone wants this conversation
Cool.
further."
Awesome.
Um, yeah, so I just have it in my email signature now too. Hey, if you ever want to
Cool.
hop on a call, here's my link. So that was kind of how I did it.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Okay, so fast forwarding, one more time. Um,
yeah.
it sounds like now word of mouth is your primary driver of new users. Is that right?
Word of mouth, and I would say partnerships.
Okay.
Starting to build partnerships with communities who already have a pool of vetted people that they want to unlock more opportunity for them.
Nice.
Um, Leaders of communities, um, certain niches, like I said, the Olympians,
Yeah.
they have like a source, like they're all part of a community.
Cool.
So reaching out to like people because then we don't have to do as much vetting. They
Okay.
already have vetted. So I'd say that's our primarily like our main focus now. It's a little bit faster than going
Yeah,
one-on-one.
that makes sense. And is your path to acquiring bookers or users, I'm not sure what you call them, mostly through the brains? Are they coming in through that channel?
Typically, yeah, for especially at the beginning, it was depending on who we would onboard, who they would bring in, because that person would bring their community in.
Gotcha.
So that was really nice. But then the person would stay and like kind of browse the marketplace. Now we're just about to launch because yeah, how do you The hardest part about a marketplace is actually the demand, we realized, right?
Okay,
Getting the supply is doable now. We've got that kind of on lockdown, but
nice.
how do we bring more and more eyeballs to the marketplace that inspire supply to sign up even more, right? Kickstart that flywheel.
Yeah.
And the way that we're doing that is, first of all, gifting. We're going to universities and being like, hey, students, did you know you could like directly book these world-class professionals and have a conversation that's going to set you apart?
Yeah.
And we're just about to launch a program that I'm really excited about. It's our first demand side subscription, and it's called Meet the World's People. And it's essentially a subscription like Audible, where you pay 15 bucks a month, you get a credit, but instead of going to download a book, you use that credit to go book a conversation. And so
Cool.
we want to get our goal is to get 10,000 people to subscribe to this so that we know 10,000 people will go and use their credit every month on the platform. And then we can get predictable demand. And
Nice.
we've realized that every time someone has a conversation on the platform, 30% of them will result in a monetized, a purchased offer.
Oh,
So
that's
then
great.
we can start to do analytics a little bit more, which investors love to hear.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. So have you guys used any other channels? The ones I'm tracking so far are you essentially tapping your personal network, Facebook
Mhm.
outreach, mostly through your personal network, partnerships, co-working space as an example of a partnership. Were there other things that you
Yeah.
guys did in the early days to find people?
Um, like just host workshops. We hosted a lot of like come learn about Pick My Brain to our email list. So anyone that had ever touched Pick My Brain, we'd email them and
Nice.
be like, do you want to come learn more about it? We're hosting a masterclass, 60 minutes, come learn about it.
Yeah, cool.
Um, yeah, that's about it. Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. You guys have incredible word of mouth. Um, mm,
Yeah, it is a good product for word of mouth for sure.
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Are there any things that you do to sort of maintain the like community or the word of mouth flow? Like, how do you think about what makes a good word of mouth product?
Yeah, by hosting those monthly events every month,
Yeah,
that allows people to consistently feel and experience it. They share that quite verbally a
cool.
lot after that event because it's a really fun event. By again, every booking on Pick My Brain, you can leave a review. And so like capturing those reviews and sharing them. I
Nice.
mean, like, look at what this person did on the platform.
Yeah,
Um, by teaching our brains. So people are generally not very good at selling themselves. So we have to
I
like
bet.
teach them how to do it.
Yeah,
So we one of our brains recently gave us a playbook, and what he does is once a week on LinkedIn, he goes, "Dear community, if there's anybody that wants to talk about mental health, startups, or LinkedIn branding, I open up 10 slots on my calendar every month. Here's my link."
cool.
And he has driven 300 plus people to book him just through that playbook. And so we're going, dear brains, if you want to be of service to your
Nice.
community, do this. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
interesting. Do you feel like people struggle to sort of handle the monetization element? Like, at least
Yes.
personally, when I think about it, I'm like, I totally know how to offer free stuff, and I totally don't know how to offer paid things in a way that will land and resonate and not feel like an overstep. Is that
Yeah,
what a
totally.
lot of your education is geared at?
Yeah, 100%. People struggle so hard to know how much to charge, to what to do it, to take that step. And so we started building template offers that have a set price, a set description that people can step into that we can then market on their behalf. So, for example, Pick My Brain session is a 60-minute online session where you can ask me anything. And we sell those so we used to sell them at $75. And we said, if you're open to doing that, like Mindy, would you be open to selling a 60-minute session where someone can ask you anything for 75 bucks? You can set the limit on that, but we can list that for you immediately. So you don't have to think about monetizing it. And
Gotcha.
then on the demand side, we can go, hello world. Did you know you could ask anybody any set of questions for 75 bucks, right? If we
Nice.
standardize it more, it actually becomes easier to sell. So we're starting to loop back. I probably in the beginning went too custom at the beginning and allowed people to build custom offers, but then they have to sell custom offers independently, and that's really hard.
That makes sense.
Um, the more standardized we can make the offers, the easier it is for brains to step into it, the easier it is for demand to not shop based on price, and for us to like scale our efforts.
Yeah, that makes sense. Do you want to just really quickly walk me through what one of those community events looks like? Like what
Yeah.
actually happens? How do you run it? Have you
Yeah.
iterated at all?
Yeah. So you go on Luma and you sign up to do a community event.
Cool.
We have them all signed up for the year. You can sign up for one session or all the sessions, and it goes into your calendar. At the time of the event, you sign on to Zoom, and hundreds of people are signing on to this Zoom, and I'm usually facilitating them still. And I go, hello, everyone. Welcome to our global knowledge sharing community event. I'm just going to give, and I usually open up the floor for about 5 to 10 minutes. I open up a slide deck and I share the vision and the mission and why it's important to connect with people from different countries and cultures and industries. I share some stories and then I say, okay, and today we're going to create probably 600 conversations in the span of 1 hour based on how many people are in the room.
Wow.
The way that we're going to do that is 3 breakout sessions. I'm going to mix and match you guys in 3 different breakout sessions with 3 different questions. Some of them will be one-to-one, some will be one-to-many. The first question typically is a personal question. The second question is a professional question. And the third question is like, let's solve a world problem or talk about something relevant that's going on in the world. And then they go through and they meet and get zoomed into a room. And then I end the conversation and be like, I'm going to take a group picture. Thank you so much for coming and exchanging knowledge today. We together created 600 conversations and connections in 1 hour. This probably inspired so much. If you met anyone from the program, we're on a mission to facilitate 10 million conversations. If you could book the person on the platform so we can track it, feel free to follow up and then I show them how to do that. If you're not a brain, feel free to list your brain as well. We'll see you next month. That's kind of like the pitch.
Wow. What percentage of the people on those calls are like totally new to Pick My Brain versus Pick My Brain veterans, brains, hardcore
Yeah,
users?
good questions. Probably about 25%, 25 to 30% brand new now.
Okay.
We've
Wow.
got about 60%, and it just keeps growing. And
Wow.
I
And
can't wait.
sorry,
Yeah.
what are you doing to advertise that? Or is it really just word of mouth?
It's honestly just
Wow.
word of mouth. I have
That's
not spent
amazing.
a dollar. Yeah, it's all word of mouth. I can't wait to
Whoa.
start advertising it because I
Yeah.
think it'll fly.
That's
But not
incredible.
yet. I'm not ready for it yet. Almost,
Yeah.
so close.
That
Yeah.
makes sense. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm conscious that we're a little bit over time and I don't want to keep you. Is there anything else that you feel like is worth sharing from like a tactical perspective? Things that really helped you grow, particular things you're really glad you did? Anything in the story that you're like, definitely do X?
100% start building your community from day one. It is so much extra effort and it is a lot of time, but it pays back in multiple like spades and it teaches you so much. Um, Go have 1,000 conversations to really understand people. If you don't understand people, you don't understand business.
Yeah.
First, like, I had conversations and those conversations spread Pick My Brain to 88 countries. So I strategically now go on to Pick My Brain and just introduce myself
Yeah.
so that that person can introduce me beyond. And that is why I haven't had to spend a dollar on Pick My Brain. So a lot of times startup founders go to these accelerators and we hear how important it is to have conversations, but like
Yeah.
where do you go to have these conversations? And I'm like, literally Pick My Brain. This is like people will give you permission and you can just pepper them with questions, and I've been able to dial in our messaging
Yeah.
so much because I've done it so often. So have lots of conversations. Everything takes twice as long and costs twice as much as you're originally going to expect. So don't get, it's just so hard. It's just the hardest thing to get a ball going.
Yeah.
But once you do, like, it still amazes me now. It amazes me that I have 100 strangers who somehow find us, put together a profile. It's not easy to build a Pick My Brain profile. You got to put some time and energy and effort into
Yeah.
thinking about it and submitting it for review. And like I think that like taking 3 years to get there is a remarkable progress. So like even though I keep reading about platforms that have 22 million people on it or doing 100 million ARR, it does start to compound and you do start to feel it. It just takes so long to do a B2C marketplace, to do a B2C SaaS company. And yeah, don't underestimate the power of going on LinkedIn and explaining constantly what you're getting from it, what you're learning, building in public. And like don't be shameless. Like I use Pick My Brain for everything. If anyone wants to talk to me, it has to go through Pick My Brain. It's just what I do. Helps
Yeah.
improve the product, helps introduce the product. So like everything I do yeah, like helps me move towards my mission, and I am shameless about it. It took me at first, was nervous about doing that, but now I'm like,
Yeah.
not at all. And then partnerships speed you up so much faster, like channel partners, like really thinking about combining with communities rather than spending money on ads to strangers that you don't know. Like, I don't think I'll ever go with the ad method. I will
Yeah.
always go to a community and figure out actually how to do a revenue sharing agreement that's in alignment with their mission.
Yeah.
And I am able to get to decision makers so much faster that way. So, like, I'm not into the advertisement model. I don't know if I ever will be. I don't know if that's, I find female founders are more community driven than
Yeah.
like get the ads, figure out your cost to acquire, optimize your numbers. Women are like, build your community, invest in your community, find the heart and the soul beat of your company, and then figure it out.
Yeah.
So I'm like much more on this track. Yeah, that's probably like the biggest advice.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's so helpful to hear just because so many founders are not in the bucket of like, I launched and it's like instantly perfect. Like a lot of people are out there grinding, and it's amazing that you
Right.
have done it so successfully and like so
Ugh,
methodically. So thank you so
took
much for
forever
sharing.
though.
I mean,
You're so
yeah,
welcome.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, last question. When was Pick My Brain originally founded? Like, when did you put up the first version of the site? When did y'all incorporate?
We incorporated in 2017.
Cool.
We did not build and launch a product, and our first booking, I think, was in 2019.
Okay.
2019 was our first booking, and
Yeah.
then I think we had 100 brains by 2020, and then we kept iterating, and I mean, now it's the beginning of 2023.
Yeah.
So I always think like, yeah, first booking was like when it really
One.
started instead of the idea. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. I recalled when you were showing the Airbnb listing, it looked like that was 2018. So like
Oh
company,
yeah.
early
Yeah.
experimentation,
Yeah.
first
Company.
product.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Exactly. Yeah.
Awesome.
Crazy.
Incredible. Well, thank you so much again, Maxine. This was incredible. I'm so excited to share with people.
Welcome. I
All
hope
right.
it's helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And obviously, if there's anything you want to promote, like if you have an Instagram, if you want to be like, find one, pick my brain
Oh,
here, feel free to say that and
pick
we'll
my
throw it up.
brain, guys. You can pick my brain, but don't pick my brain. Pick all the other brains because they are just like fantastic. And like really think about this as a strategy to scale your company.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it is a secret competitive advantage that I want to tell startup founders. You want to get your product around the world, go have a conversation strategically. Be like, I'm going to have a conversation with someone from Brazil, someone from China, someone from Europe. I'm going to have a conversation with the CEO, and you can search them on Pick My Brain and be like, I have a product. It's called Pick My Brain. And this is right or whatever. I have a
Yeah.
product that's this. I just want
Totally.
to ask you questions about it. So use it as a competitive advantage. It's totally worthwhile. And you'd be surprised at how strategic you can be with it
I
and getting
bet.
word out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm excited to go poke around. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Let me just
No
stop the
problem.
recording.
Yeah.